You just don't understand. Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Art of Creation Homestead. We are in the kitchen once again today for more of the Homestead Kitchen Skills series, and it's going to be my favorite one possible. I promise you, you're not getting better than this. The hype is real. It's biscuit time. I get serious about some biscuits. Alright, but seriously, Angela Kay's got a beautiful biscuit recipe in case you got somebody who's serious about some good biscuits too. She's going to show you how to take care of that. Alright, so here she is.
In this bowl, this is my biscuit bowl.
Hey, by the way, where'd you get that biscuit bowl?
This was Jason's Grandma Wanda's bowl.
Yep.
If you watched the Chicken Delicious video, you heard a lot about Grandma Wanda.
Yep.
This was her bowl.
Yep.
And this is my biscuit bowl.
It's just a resin type thing, ain't it? Or what is it?
No, it's
I forgot what they call it.
agonized wood
Oh,
bowl.
okay, yeah, it's crazy. It's hard to find something like that these days.
Yes, very hard.
Yep.
So this bowl was very old. In this bowl, we have 3 cups of all-purpose flour. We have 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt. We have 3/4 of a teaspoon of sugar. And we have 2 tablespoons, yes, I said 2 tablespoons of baking powder. I know the sugar may sound a little odd, but I have found that it helps a lot with caramelizing the bottoms and making for a browner top. It tends to help a lot with that.
This is not a sweet biscuit.
No, it's not. It's not going to be sweet.
No, it is not.
At 3/4 of a teaspoon, it's not gonna add sweetness.
Absolutely not.
You can leave it out,
but I wouldn't.
I have found that it works really well. Now I am taking a whisk and whisking all those dry ingredients together. Now, to this I am adding 6 tablespoons of salted butter that is cold. You want it cold from the refrigerator.
Cold butter.
And you want it cut in pieces about like that.
Cold butter cube.
And you are going to add that to your flour mixture. And you're going to toss all of those cubes in the flour until they're all coated. Now, you are going to start mashing those up. You can use a pastry cutter. You can use 2 forks. I choose to use the best tools in the world, which is the ones God put at the end of your wrist. I take a butter cube in my fingers and I push on it and rub. And when you do that, you create almost like sheets of butter, like little sheets of butter. And you want to keep doing that until all of your butter is broke up into your flour mixture and it resembles coarse cornmeal. I'll show you what that looks like when we're there. As you can see, you have a few little butter chunks in there, but that's fine. It's just going to make for flakier biscuits. But see, for the most part, it looks like coarse cornmeal. You don't want to blend it in until you don't see any butter chunks at all, because usually then you end up with a dense biscuit, and you want a light, fluffy biscuit. Now, I prefer to use cast iron to fix my biscuits in. You get a much crispier bottom on your biscuit, and it just makes for a much better biscuit. If you choose to use cast iron, you want to be preheating it right now in your oven that you are preheating to 425 degrees, because you want that cast iron to be screaming hot when you put those biscuits on there. Now, you want to make a well in the middle of your flour.
Dig a hole.
Yep, you want to dig a hole.
Make a nest.
Just like I've told you in the other bread type recipes that I've done, whether it be the tortillas or the pizza crust, either one, anytime you're working with a bread type thing, whether it be a quick bread or a yeast bread, the amount of liquid you need is always going to depend on the day and the atmosphere in your house and things like that. Sometimes it will take more, sometimes it will take less. So what you need here, you need anywhere from 1.5 to 1 3/4 cups of liquid. Okay, this is the liquid that I choose to use. This is 1 1/4 cups of whole milk buttermilk. I prefer whole milk buttermilk rather than low fat buttermilk because it makes for a richer end product and so much more flavor. And it's 1/2 cup of regular whole milk. Now I know that sounds odd to mix the two milks, but I have discovered in my years of making biscuits and my years of many trials of making biscuits, I have discovered that if I do all buttermilk, the biscuits tend to be a little tangy, and they also don't tend to be as light and fluffy. If you add that little bit of milk, you tend to get fluffier, lighter. You tend to get more soft dough, fluffier, lighter biscuits, and they're not as tangy, but they have an amazing flavor. So I'm going to start by pouring in about 1.5 cups of my liquid. I may need the rest of it, I may not. You've just got to know what it looks like, and that's what I'm going to show you, is how to know when it's right.
So you mix the two milks together.
Yes.
In one big cup, and then you
Yes.
use that mixture.
Yes.
There. Okay.
Yes.
Make sure everybody's clear. Because this is an art form, y'all.
Really, biscuit making
It is
kind of an art form. And it's somewhat of a dying art these days.
Now, is there a purpose to how you're mixing?
You just want to mix everything together, get all of the flour moistened without overworking. Biscuits, you do not want to overwork biscuits or you end up with tough biscuits. Now, as I've told you, it depends on your day, depends on a lot of stuff. You see it's a little bit shaggy right now. I've found you get the best biscuits if your dough is a little moist, a little on the moist side. So I've added 1.5 cups. I'm going to add about 2 tablespoons more. And you want to work all of that buttermilk in. And like I said, you want it to be a little on the wet side. You will thank me if you let it stay a little on the wet side. If you let it get dry, you're going to have hockey pucks. You're not going to have light, fluffy biscuits. You're going to have hockey pucks. And hockey pucks are not good to eat. See, now, this is what you want it to look like. See, it's starting to come together into a little bit of a ball. And see, it's very sticky. See, when you push on it, you get dough on your fingers. That's really where you want it. For good biscuits, that's really where you want it. Okay, so now, just like I told you with the tortillas, when I've done yeast bread stuff, I've told you never to flour the surface, always to do oil. But when you're doing something that is not yeast bread, that is more considered a quick bread, you want to make sure you throw flour. So, I've got a little bit of flour here in a cup, and I'm just going to toss, 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 toss. You want to make sure you have your surface very well floured. And now you're going to dump your biscuit dough out onto your surface. Now, at this point, you can choose to use a rolling pin. If you want, you can choose to use a rolling pin. I do not use a rolling pin. I just pat it out with my hands. And I'm going to show you how to get those layers to your biscuits. Not like the fakey stuff in the store that you buy in the store. As you can see, if it starts getting really sticky, you want to throw some more flour. Not like those flaky layers those fakey layers.
Fakey layers in the can.
They won't be like that. But to get some layers, you want to pat it out pretty thin. And then you want to fold over.
So the layers helps you be able to split the biscuit apart, right?
Yes.
Exactly.
And the more times you fold it, the more times you pat it out and fold it, the more layers you're going to have. But you don't want to do that too many times, because as you're doing this, you're working the gluten. And you're going to end up with a tough biscuit. So normally, I just do it a couple of times, just like that. Now, you want to make sure that everything's going to come clean off your surface. You want to pat out your biscuits. You want to pat out your dough. How thin you pat it out depends on how thick you want your biscuits. We like nice tall biscuits here, so I'm going to leave mine fairly thick. I'm leaving mine about that thick.
Which is about 1/2 inch or so?
About a 1/2 inch.
Yeah.
Maybe a little more.
Yes, between 1/2 inch and 1 inch.
And now, I'm going to start cutting out my biscuits, and then I'll get my skillet out of the oven. Now, you can use a glass or anything. I am using this. It is a chopper or a biscuit cutter. It's very sharp, so be very careful with it. I'll put a link in the description below to this. I absolutely love it. It makes beautiful biscuits.
Get your pan out.
Get your pan out of the oven. Now, you want to get as many as you can out of one cut, although I am going to redo. You want to push straight down. No twisting. You don't want to twist. If you twist, you seal the edges down. See where you've got those rough edges that you can see the layers? That's what you want. If you twist, you seal the edges and they won't rise as well. So now you want to dust the flour off the bottom, and you want to start putting them on your pan. Here's a trick for you. If you want spread out biscuits that are not tall, that don't rise real tall, put them away from each other. Do not put them up against each other. And that will give them room to spread. If you want tall biscuits, put them up against each other, and they will essentially use each other as a ladder to climb up each other. And you will get tall biscuits that way. So we like tall biscuits, so I butt mine up against each other. And where you see some of those that have creases, that doesn't make any difference. These are good homemade biscuits. They're not going to look like what you get out of a can. I promise you, they're not going to taste like what you get out of a can either. Now,
you hear them sizzling.
Yes. Now, all these scraps right here, we're going to rework them just a little. Don't overwork, once again, because you're going to end up with your last few biscuits are going to be really tough if you overwork this dough. The re-rolls are going to be a little rougher looking, but it's okay. And there's 2 more biscuits. And then this little bit of dough right here, I make him into a little tiny biscuit. He's the dummy biscuit. So I just make him into a little biscuit. And we eat him.
After he's cooked.
After he's cooked.
Throw him on the edge and eat him anyways.
Yes.
Don't waste it. It's going to be biscuits.
Yes. So now these are going to go into your preheated 425 degree oven. And I will show you what you do next about halfway through the process. This is part of what makes these so good. Yep. Halfway through the process, we're going to do something special to them. It's been about 7 minutes and the biscuits are about half done. See, when you push on them, the top is no longer sticky, but you can see that they kind of give. Yep. Because they're about half done. So here we have 4 tablespoons of salted butter.
Melted.
Melted.
Obviously.
And you want to brush it all over the top. Use all of it.
Yep.
You will thank me for this.
So basically what we do is we do a round, and whatever's left to go around, do another round.
Yes, use every last drop. And I'll show you what it looks like when they're all buttered up. These bad boys are all buttered up.
Get around the sides and everything.
Trust me, this is what's gonna make them melt in your mouth delicious.
Yep.
So now we're gonna put them right back in to that 425 degree oven.
Are you putting them on the top or the bottom rack?
I am gonna start out on the bottom rack. You want to keep an eye on the bottoms and make sure that the bottoms aren't burning. If they start to look like they're getting a little too brown, you want to put them on the top rack. Now, if you are not doing cast iron, if you are doing just a regular cookie sheet, then you want to put it on the top rack right off the bat. Do not put it on the bottom because they will burn very quickly on just a cookie sheet. Okay, they're out of the oven. This beautifulness.
Biscuits. Look at them biscuits. Even the little dummy biscuit.
Yep.
He's gonna be a snack.
And they have baked for about 10 more minutes. And I did transfer them to the top when the bottom started to get nice and brown. And then I put the oven on broil for about 1.5 to 2 minutes to get this nice brown on top. If I can raise this up without burning my fingers, I'll show you the bottom.
Oh,
Look at that.
that's gonna be crunchy.
Yep.
That's gonna be crunchy.
Listen. You can hear it hit.
Oh yeah, that's some good stuff.
So now, we'll be back when these cool just a little bit so Jason can taste them.
I'll split one open.
Because otherwise he's going to burn his pie hole.
Look at that. Look at that beautiful biscuit. Now it's still hot, but look at that. Good crust on the bottom. You want that. That's tasty right there. Now this right here, good for jelly, good for honey, good for plain eating. You just don't understand. Best biscuits ever. I don't care what your grandma did. I don't care what your mama did. Listen right here. You ain't beating that one.
Are they light and fluffy?
Light, fluffy, buttery, delicious. Apple butter. That needs some apple butter. All that needs. Alright, y'all. I'm going to stop making you drool, making you jealous because those are amazing. Thank you guys so much for watching. We do appreciate it. Again, my name is Jason. That's Angela K. Art of Creation Homestead. Love you guys. God bless you and goodbye. Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Art of Creation Homestead. I've got Scam Likely calling me right now on the phone, so I'm going to have to interrupt this broadcast to hit decline. Let's try this again, shall we? Old Scam Likely gets you every time. Old crackhead.